Good morning. Here we are again in my exciting workshop. The reason we're here is something quite particular to the V4 Panigale, maybe the V2 as well with the single-sided swing arm, is adjusting the ride height. There's no adjustment in the linkages, which you have had on older Ducatis before, and so the only way to adjust the ride height is to adjust the shock length. And I'm going to show you in a minute, it's virtually impossible to get a spanner onto the bottom of the shock because the linkages are in the way. And I have butchered some spanners in the past, making them thinner, trying to get them on. And it depends on the exhaust. With the previous exhaust I've had on the bike, you could do it, and it's fine, but can't do it with this one that I've got on now, which is more usual routing of the V4 exhaust. So I come up with a wonderful plan, haven't I? There's either side of the shock length adjuster are the dog bone linkages, and because of their proximity to the adjuster, you can't get a span on it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and widen them, and then hopefully that'll allow me to get a spanner on. So I'll show you the problem with the bike with some spanners, and then I'll show you one fairly easy, straightforward solution that everybody can do, and then I will carry out some of my monkey work, and maybe my plan will work. I don't know. We'll see. So these are the bolts I've ordered and spacers and nuts for widening the dog bones. This is my butchered tool here, and then this 27 does the bottom of the shock, and these 24s undo the lock nut. So bring both of these over here. See if you can see it. So there, you just see that purple, that's actually the rebound adjuster on this shock. And this here, that's the lock nut. And then that there is the adjuster for the shock length. So with the wheel on, you're not doing anything, right? So I will show you how you can adjust it very easily with the wheel on. Do is actually measure our ride height. I have got this delightful Ducati ride height tool, which apparently is very hard to get hold of. I don't know how I got hold of it, but I've got one. And what it does, it gives you a fixed point to measure from. So I can go on any bike, clip this on, put this in, and measure the ride height. You don't need it. I'll show you how you can do it afterwards, but I'm sure if you're looking at this, you probably know how to measure your ride height without a tool. So I measured down there, and I'm going to get 276 as my ride height. But equally, what you could do is you could measure from a fixed point such as this to a fixed point such as that, and use that as your ride height. So this is pretty much the easiest way, for me anyway, to adjust the shock or the ride height. Take the rear wheel off, obviously it only takes 2 seconds. Get my modified spanner, just get it on the bottom of that shock there. Once you've just broken it, you can undo that nut, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that bolt out, but I need 2 arms to do that, or 2 hands, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you how to adjust this shock. So now that I've removed that bolt, you can see that undoing this would add 1 millimeter per turn, so that's half 1, and then you just put the bolt back in, remeasure your ride height. It's fairly straightforward. So here we are. Some of you that were eagle-eyed may have noticed that I showed a picture of the bolts up on my bench in these packages. If you were really eagle-eyed, you'd have noticed I bought the wrong bolts. The bolts I bought were M10s, and what I've used today are M12 by 95mm stainless steel, and then I've used, just to measure it all up, M12 washers, and then I've got M12 hexagon nylon lock nuts. And then I've been busy with my angle grinder, modifying tools, and this is what we've got. So I've got 4 washers on either side, and I have to double check the specs. So you've got 5. You've got about 10 mil on each side I've added. And now you can get the lock nut off easy. So that's the lock nut off. And then this super modified 27 for this shock. There we go. You can see I can move that. I've done that quite. Yeah, I've done this spanner quite short, which makes it a little bit harder to move, but you get more angle on it, and also there's this tiny probability, and I don't think it will happen, that I might be able to leave the rear wheel on. So we should see. So anyway, that's my exciting modification to widen that, to make it easy to, well, look at my hair. Well, not just easy to move, not just easy to move the, not just easy to lengthen shock, but possible to lengthen shock with it on the bike.